Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the video. Let's move. This is the Monday upload. I did miss the weekend uploads, but that's all right because tomorrow I'm going to be live streaming at around probably like 11 a.m. to noon EST, and I'm going to be VOD reviewing all 12 games from Peterpot and Byla. So I'm gonna VOD review all of them, and then I'm gonna upload them to YouTube if you end up missing them. So don't worry about that. The full complete live stream will be on YouTube. So if you want to go through that and watch it later, then you can go through and watch that. But anyway, this video is just going to be about how to master a POI. So with the next season coming up, there's going to be new POIs and new splits. And it's important that you get a head start and you kind of have a plan going into it. So let's just say that Chapter 3, Season 3 dropped, and this is the map we have. And now I don't know anything. I don't know what the meta is going to be like. I have no idea what the rotates are. I have a rough idea on the guns. You want to pick something first off that kind of meets your playstyle. If you're an aggressive team and you're strong off spawn, then you can pick somewhere with a lot of chest. That would be Command, Tilted, Collider, maybe Chonkers down here, Greasy, Bugle, somewhere where there is a lot of chest and you can fight for it and you kind of are really good off spawn with whatever scuff loot you might have. Now, if you are a team that isn't the best off spawn, then you would want to pick an edger POI. So Synapse, Condo, maybe North Sleepy over here, Sleepy, Logjam, Camp Cuddle, somewhere on the edge of zone. Now, it also fits into, let's say you are a good team fighting off spawn, but you are better at getting Surge and playing for end game than you are at actually fighting in the mid game. Then, if you are a good team and you have a strong rotates and you can develop a good rotate path and you can get Surge really well, even in stackers, then finding a split or somewhere on the edge of the map is definitely better because then you're farther away, you're probably not going to be contested, you just have to loot it all and get to zone and get Surge. Now, if you are good off spawn and you can get Surge and everything, then landing in the middle is always better, especially if they don't bring back any forms of rotates. It's a lot easier to rotate when zone is like closer to you, obviously. So just for this case, let's say I pick Greasy as my drop. Now, Greasy is going to be my drop. So I'm just going to look at it like this and kind of get like a rough idea on what I think the strongest buildings are. Now, you would want to turn on all the spawns to figure out, where everything is. Now, it's going to get really laggy if I do that, and I'm already freezing out here. So let's just undo that. But you're gonna want to put on all of these and kind of get like an idea on what's important here. So obviously the coolers, I've already done a Greasy drop. I won't go over it that much, but we kind of see the important buildings we have. We have a henchman chest here. We have a fuck ton of chest here. We have chest here with the coolers on it. Now the coolers do drop the clonberries and all that shit, so it's not really that as crazy as it was when it was just the splashes. But so it'd either be picking this building or this building, and then that's where you start developing a strategy. So if it's this building here, what you want to do is probably try to deter these guys from keying as fast as possible. So what that might be is that you land someone on the roof, they hit all the roof chests, they build up 2 to 3 layers, while the guy below loots the rest of the chest, and his goal is just to tag the guys who are going to be running over like that. That's his whole mission, is to sit up there and just shoot people. The guy below loots up everything, gets a fuck ton of mats, come up, splits mats, and then you guys fight. And the guys over here want to hit these and use the coolers for their advantage and keel over as fast as possible. They want to get over there before this guy gets up, or before these guys are ready to fight. So you can start kind of even gauging an idea. Even if there weren't coolers, here, then that changes everything. That makes this building the best, and you'd want to fight for this building. Because if you own this building, then you have easy access to the henchmen, and then you can grab almost all of this, and then that's even more than enough for a duo, and then you can easily fight the team that lands on this side. So whatever POI you pick, you just want to kind of build like a rough idea on what building, what side is better for you, and what side you want to control. So that's what you start doing off rip, is find a POI, find kind of the technique and what you want to control in that POI. Obviously it might change. Let's say the coolers gets added later in the season, but you already know the ins and outs of Greasy. You know the drops to get here, you know how to fight there, you know all the angles where you can and can't build, you know what teams rotate in. So all you can do is that you just switch it. Okay, now instead of landing here, we're going to land here so we can fight over the coolers. That's completely fine because you already know all the other stuff with the POI. You're just adding in the small little detail that just changes where you land. So picking a POI. New season drops. Let's say you have no fucking knowledge of this map at all and there's a new POI somewhere. If you want to land there, but fucking stick to it. Stick to that POI. The only reason to leave is if it gets fucking nerfed to the ground. I'm saying it has 40 chests and now there's fucking 5 chests. That's the only reason you should leave. But pick a spot and stick to it. Especially important at the start of the season if you pick kind of like a, I don't know how to word this, like kind of like a weird POI. So like Stealthy Stronghold, for example. If you learned how to play Stealthy Stronghold early on, then it was like you have such a huge advantage on all the other teams that are trying to learn it later. So, because you already know the whole ins and outs, the fucking bushes, and everything, how to play it with Stealthy Stronghold. So if there's a weird POI on the map and you don't have a POI, it's best to learn it and be the first team to master it, rather than being like, oh, this is actually a really good spot, and now you're trying to go against people who already know how to play it. That's kind of like the downside. So just pick somewhere, find what the best place to land is, and start developing a strategy. Now, you also have to think about, okay, so this is my spot here. What spots around can impact my game? So if you are conned here, who can shoot you? Who can shoot you when you're flying in? So I don't think you can be shot from over here, really. The zipline team can shoot you, and that's kind of bad news, because if the bus goes like this, they're going to be on the zipline before you, and you're going to be gliding in like that, and that's not good. So that's just some stuff to think about. When you're gliding in, who can shoot you? Next, then think about who can key you, who can push you when you're fighting or when you're looting. So I'd say this team probably won't push you just because there is a lot of loot. They do have to loot this island over here, but they might. You know, what if instead of going to this island, they just hit all of this? Then if they get tags on you when you're rotating, then they can, you know, fuck you up. So your south side is kind of a little bit scary. So when you're rotating in between these buildings over here, have a little mental note that, okay, when I'm running around like this, I have to be careful. I don't want to get beamed or 3-2-1 down or whatever. So when you're jumping, you know, build or jump and look around and see if you can find the south team over here. Now let's look at your north side. Your north side actually isn't that bad for Greasy. There's not really any true splits people will go here. I mean, this will be hit, but this is kind of all part of this, or even all part of all of this. So they won't hit this and then key you early on. So you don't really need to worry about your north side. Now your west side is kind of the same thing. Of course, this team could loop around like this. So when it's a little bit later in the game, in terms of later in the early game, I guess, you have to be careful of your west side, because a team could sneak up. That is the same for the east side as well. This team could come one of these ways like that. So you do have to be a little bit careful. Now, if you do have zone, and then this team might end up pulling back towards you and end up keying Greasy or rotating into Greasy or whatever else. That's just, you know, now you know your POI, and you kind of have a rough idea how the surrounding POIs and splits are going to interact with your drop. Obviously, once tournaments start dropping and you still want to land here, you want to actually go into the VODs and VOD review the teams that land around you, just so you can get a rough idea of their timings. So when do they leave? When do they look for Surge? Where do they go to look for Surge? Are they basing up near Greasy? Or would you be able to intercept them on the way over? You're hiding behind a tree, you get a 3-2-1, you have your Surge, or you even have a free refresh going into the mid game because you got to, you know, you annihilated them, you got a beam, whatever. Go around here and you find out what they do, and then that way you can use that to either A, capitalize on it, or B, use it to your advantage to move around them or do whatever you want to do. So VOD review the people that land around your POI as well as the ones that land inside your POI. So if a pro player lands here, and let's say that at the start of the season the coolers are on, so let's just turn it on, and you didn't realize the coolers were going to be this broken, and you were landing here and you couldn't understand why you're getting keyed so fast and what's happening. So you VOD review a pro team, or you VOD review yourself, and you realize that these coolers are fucking busted. Now you have to change your kind of plan to own these coolers. Now we should start having like a pretty big idea of, you know, how to play this drop. Now the next thing is to find nearby surge positions. This is crucial. Very, very important, especially in stacked lobbies, as well as the fact that right now there's no rotates, but there might be some natural rotates in the future. You know, there might be some fucking other crazy shit. I mean, it's epic. Anything could fucking happen and we don't know. But you want to kind of get a rough idea on where you could rotate for surge. Of course, Greasy in this case isn't that really that good of an example in the current meta, because they do have the Lambo in there. So that's a pretty big fucking advantage, because you can drive anywhere on the map with them. But let's just assume there's no Lambo in this case here. Now we want to kind of find what would be a good surge spot. Now in this case, the Tilted Hills are fucking crucial. They're a very good spot. I mean, I saw teams fighting over this spot right here all the time. I saw Trashy and Glaze trying to claim this hill. So if you can loot this up and develop a loot path where you're unconned and you're hitting all the spots as quickly as possible, you know, hitting the hard brick and getting max mats as soon as possible. Even you can sacrifice a bit of materials to rotate out. Like leaving like 5-5-4 is fine if you get a very good position for surge. But that's only really the case if you're in the fucking stackers and there's like 98 up or like 95 up or whatever. So you just need to, what I would like to do usually to figure out surge for a spot is that you just start creating kind of zones. So these were some of the zones we had. Let's just go around here and start with all the edge zones. These are zones that pull very far away or on the edge side. Obviously, you know, some of these might be too big than what actual zone is, but it's something like this. And you would want to go around and build all of these and then go through and kind of figure out like a rough idea on what some good positions would be for this zone. So here we are here. First, you figure out hot side, dead side. That's pretty simple. Where's all the teams going to rotate in from? It would be something like cross like this is very rough, you know, hot side, dead side, something like that. Now you have to figure out kind of like where you can actually base up in here to have a good position and be able to get some surge. If you leave early enough and you get here, you can actually tag all the teams that want to run through tilted like this, or any of the teams that want to go like this, or the teams that don't actually want to run through this side, because this is pretty scary with these two next to it and you have to cross a big open body of water here. They might try to loop all the way around like this, and you can tag those teams that do that because you got this position pretty early. That would be pretty nice. Or let's say you already have a bit of surge and you tagged the teams behind you, the teams running past you, or you just left so early enough that you could just get deeper into zone. You might be able to, you know, claim some of the mountains over here, get on top of fortress, claim this, take some sections over here, something like this, find some natural elevation. Maybe the blimp's on here, but maybe you even claim part of the bridge over here so you can refarm your metal. Whatever this is, you kind of get a rough idea. This is zone, this is where I want to rotate to. Then you just do that all the way around and you just learn kind of the points on the map that you want to get to. And then you have to start developing strategies to get there. So if you're on con at Greasy and zone pulls all the way to Bugle and you want to get a really good position for Bugle, like let's say you want to be on Bugle, then you're going to have to leave fucking early. You might have to sacrifice this game, go 5-5-3, 5-4-3, 5-3-3, something like that. And let's say it's 5-4-3 and you want to get here so you can refarm some of your materials. Now you're in a good position for second zone. And you're also in a good position to get surge. So make sure you kind of figure out some strategies to loot up really quickly and to leave. So now we've covered a lot of already. We've covered, you know, how to pick a POI, how to pick some advanced, you know, kind of have a rough idea on what to build in or what advantage the POI has. Learning the outer POIs, learn how they interact with you and how they interact themselves and how you can use that for your advantage. Because if, let's say, I don't know what Boyle and Accept, I think they land Synapse. Let's say they have a strategy where they every time they rift, they're going to land here, loot this, and rotate in. So good chances are other good teams, even if you're not going to go up against Boyle and Accept, they are going to do that strategy because they see that Boyle and Accept are doing it and they're winning, which is smart because they're doing that. So let's say you hear the rifts pop and you see them flying and they're low enough that it looks like they're landing here. Maybe you already have a teammate here, you spray them a bit in the air, now you fight over this house and you end up getting a free kill because you are ahead of them in terms of strategy because you're VOD reviewing the nearby POIs. So next we're going to talk about drop maps. Now if you don't know what a drop map is, let me pull up. Drop map is basically like, let's say that you are dropping to fight over the cooler building and the best drop and the bus is going this way and the best drop is like somewhere over here. I'm just eyeing it. What you would want to do is fly down up into this point where it's 100 meters and that's where you auto pull your gliders. That's where the game just pulls your glider for you. At 100 meters, then it should be the perfect drop to land on here for the chest of the gun or whatever's up there. So you can pay for a drop map if you want. I only recommend that if you're like a tier 1 pro, tier 2, or if you're like 10k, 20k plus PR or something like that and you're up against other good players. I recommend probably buying a map because they are a lot more professionally done and, you know, stuff like that, and the marks are better. But if you're anyone else and you want to have a drop map just to beat people and you don't just want to eye the drop, then actually a good website to do that is called Landed Tutorials. Let me drag that on over. Alright, so here is Fortnite.gg now, and what you're going to do is you're going to go here. Okay, here is where I want to land. I'm going to land right here on this corner where this chest spawn is. Make a little waypoint here. And what Fortnite.gg does, this is easier if you have 2 modelers, is that you actually just make the bus route here. So what you're supposed to do is you're in the spawn island. You're supposed to, okay, let's say my bus goes like this. find best drop. It lets me know when I want to jump out, and there's the drop. But what you're going to do now is that you're actually just going to mark this on the drop. So we're going to say, okay, it looks like it's in tilted over here. Let's zoom in a bit and find this. Here's tilted. And we're going to say, okay, it really looks like it's kind of like right here. And then there's one drop. And then you're going to keep doing that and keep going all the way around Greasy until you have a nice little circle all the way around. So let's say the next one is we're going to go like this. The next drop is here. You're going to go on Fortnite.gg, mark it, and keep doing that until it's all the way around. Some of the points might be a little bit useless. Like sometimes when I find this, I find I get points that are too close together. I don't know if I can get one here for you guys. Like this might be one that might be too close together. But if you want to do them with like a lot of marks all the way around, you can do that if you want. It's up to you. Some of the drops might be shit or not. Then you have to actually go in and try that out yourself and kind of mess around with the map and see if you can learn which drops are better or what ones aren't. Hopefully after you do that, you have a nice little drop map made with a bunch of points going all the way around, and then you start practicing those drops and seeing if they're actually good or not. If they aren't, then you mess around in Fortnite.gg and look for other drops. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. This is just how to master a drop spot, how to create and whatever the drop spot might be. It's just perfect for the next season. If you don't have a drop spot now, or you don't like the one you're landing at, and you just want to learn a new one, is that you have to develop a strategy and then start playing arena pubs. If you have a creator code, go in there and actually mess around and see what you can hit and where you can kind of get through and learn the ins and outs of the whole POI. And hopefully this video really helps you guys to master your POI, because again, the worst thing you can do is not have a POI going into FNCS. Now you're landing North Sleepy, you're landing Coney, and you're going up against the teams that have been landing there all season. You're already at a huge disadvantage. So yeah, hopefully you enjoy this. Please tune in for the stream tomorrow. I'm going to be live. I don't know how long it's going to take. Hopefully it doesn't take more than like 4 hours or something. No idea, but hopefully it's going to be fun, and I'll upload it all onto you. Yeah, cheers. Button again. Cheers now.